and we are recording. And oddly enough, when you watch the playback, that's literally the first thing you're going to hear is we are recording. Right?
Houston, we're in trouble. No, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Houston, we are recording.
Yeah.
How you doing, Gary and Troy? How are you all doing tonight?
Doing excellent. I'm telling you, here's the ironic thing. You know, I've got to admit that through Thanksgiving, I was a hypocrite that I didn't follow my book, but I have now been so dedicated. I've lost 10 pounds.
Nice.
10 pounds.
I did follow the book and the ingredient list. And
Well,
even
I always follow the ingredients. It's the portions that mess me up during Thanksgiving. Forget the ingredient. I eat healthy, but sometimes, you know, especially Thanksgiving, you're sitting there eating late football games and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah. I made a buffalo chicken dip, which you think, how can you make a buffalo chicken dip with chips and stuff and still keep it healthy? And other than having dairy products, I used organic everything, nitrate-free meats, on the chicken. I had some bacon in there that was nitrate-free, sourced well. The cheese was all natural. All of my sauces, my blue cheese and my ranch were organic-based sauces, organic chips. It is literally as healthy as it could be for a buffalo chicken dip.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
I've been inspiring my family at Thanksgiving to step their game up as well. I can remember a few Thanksgivings ago that some of the food that walks in the door, it's like, oh boy, what kind of ingredients were these made from?
I'll tell you something that I've got for sale, and I think some medical people are going to come over and buy it from me. Is, you know, I've had so many different nutritional counseling setups. I have a $3,000 scale that you get on barefoot, and it gives you your BMI, your percentage of body fat, your water weight, your muscle weight, everything. And I don't want to move it because it's a temperamental type of thing. I don't want it to go in a moving van. So I'm going to sell it, but I've had it for a long time, and I'm going to miss it because so many of my clients, the most important, they like my scale more than me. They wanted to, they were so excited about getting on the scale and seeing the difference of their percentage of body fat and BMI every month. It got to be a motivational tool. It's very good.
I'd like to see that as well.
Yeah, it's a fun scale. It really is. And it gives you a printout, unfortunately, where you stare at either your great news or your mistakes. That's good.
Well, as I say, I've motivated everyone around me to be eating healthier, from friends to family. This year, everything was organic. It was sugar-free. Even the cookies. There was cookies and brownies and stuff that were made with stevia, and they're all bragging about all the healthy ingredients. I was like, yeah.
Well, that hot chocolate mix makes dynamite brownies too, by the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that next year. Now that I've got some chocolate.
Yep. All right, so look, we have to go over the last 5 on the list. Let's start with that. The 5 things you don't want to do, or do you want to go over? Let's go over the promotion and stuff first.
I was gonna say, let's start with that. And we forgot to announce our top leaders last month for
let's do that too.
Recruiters.
Let's
and
do
our
that.
Top sellers.
Go ahead.
I've got that queued up here.
Go ahead.
We'll start with our top sales performers for last month. Starting at
Leanne.
Elizabeth Faggett, Christy Peel at number 9, Angie Kutchman at 8, Renee West at number 7, Sixth Street Investments, which is James and Tim at number 6, Janie Boyle at number 5, Wendy Wass at 4, Peggy Tahochsky at number 3, Krista Lee Miller at number 2, and Leanne Eves at number 1.
Way to go, Leanne.
Leanne, I know her in another organization, and she seems always at the number 1 spot. So be prepared. If you're trying to take this spot, you're going to have to work for it, because Leanne,
you know what's interesting is she also asks the most questions of anybody to me about nutrition and about what's going on with products and whatever. So the more questions you ask, I like when people vacuum my brain, because then they become smarter than me. I like it.
Yes, exactly. And we have on our recruiters, we had 5 recruiters last month. Angie is on here again with 1. Actually, we have a 3-way tie for 3rd place. Loretta Gearhart and Peggy Tahatsky is on here again. We have Mary Russell in for the 2nd spot, and James and Tim in at number 1 with 5 recruits.
Dynamite.
So congratulations. So
well, here's the good news and the bad. I know everybody hates moving, and so do I. Well, I'm leaving Arizona after 20 years and going to Florida to take care of my parents who are 96 and 90. I've been supporting them for the last 3 years, and now I'm going to go take care of them because they both have Alzheimer's and dementia. So the fact that I've got to move, why don't you tell them about the products that I want to, the special I want to do with, because for the first 2 weeks of January, I won't be able to distribute any products because I'll be in the process of driving cross country and moving all my stuff. But for the rest of December, because of that, tell them what we can do.
So the rest of December, so that's what we're saying, this is going to start tonight.
Right.
Through December 31st at midnight, right?
Correct.
Okay. So what Gary is offering, and this is something you definitely want to take advantage of because you're not going to see sales often in this organization at all. It's just we have everything very well priced. It's already selling well, and we're not a Bed Bath & Beyond where we need to package 5 and get 5 free and all that kind of stuff, right? But with that said, it costs money to move all this stuff across the country. And Gary's got a lot of inventory ready to go. He's generously offering buy 1, get 1 free on all products through the end of the month. It's buy 1, get 1 free. So the way it'll work is we'll put a code. This is for you and your customers. Anyone can take advantage of it. We'll put the codes in your back office to claim this. But the way it'll work, the website, the free one will be the least expensive one. Or if you get 2 of the same, it'll be the same. So if you get 2 bags of hot chocolate, you get a bag of hot chocolate free. If you get a bag of protein smoothie mix and a bag of hot chocolate, the hot chocolate will be free because the protein smoothie mix is the more expensive one. So you can get as much as you want. You get 10 bags of one and 10 bags of the other. Same thing applies. Buy 1, get 1 free.
Every one you buy, you get another one.
Yep. So this is a chance to stock up, get your customers, especially for customer acquisition. Getting them to try it for the first time is what creates the relationship. This goes across the board for anything. They've got to try it. This is a great chance to get them to try it. Whether they do a buy 1, get 1 free themselves, or whether you buy some inventory and give some of your free product away. However you want to do it. But
I promise you, my New Year's resolution, which I talked to Troy about today, which I'm excited about, is because Troy's been asking me about this and he's 100% right, is I've met with a manufacturer, a big company here in Arizona, and they're going to be making our immune booster with the antioxidants and the Indian gooseberry and the vitamin C and the zinc and the vitamin D. They're making capsules for us for that starting the new year. It'll have healthy response on it, which is going to be dynamite. But the other thing that I'm more excited about, I'm real excited about that because I want people to strengthen their antibodies and immune system with this bad COVID. So that's probably a priority of mine completely. But what I'm excited about that I think everybody needs as a tool, and Troy was 100% right about this, that we've got to be able to put all these products into 2-ounce little packets like you see in restaurants and, where like when you grab a sugar, you grab a salt, or you grab got a manufacturing company that's real excited. They love the products. They love all of them, by the way. And they're making up, and they're going to coordinate with Troy in terms of graphics and marketing and whatever. And we're going to be making these in the new year, where all these products will be able to hand out free 2-ounce samples of every one of these products.
Mm.
So it's gonna be good.
This would be like a stick pack, right? A 2-ounce.
Like you know how you see like you know how you see Swiss Miss hot chocolate where it's one hot chocolate, just like that, or you see in a restaurant where you add one sugar or one sweet and low or one and all of which are horrible for you, but that's another story. But this will be really convenient because I know another good reason why we're giving out buy one, get one free is that it gives you the ability to break up bags for free and give out free samples to anybody you want to. So that's good. Until I make them up professionally.
Well, and that's where these 2 ounce sachets, if we'll call it that, will be hugely valuable, is your ability to get these and hand them out in the office, assuming that there's an office environment at that time. And who knows with COVID how that'll go. But friends, family, events, you run into people, here, try this, give them a business card with it.
Oh yeah, but and then once this COVID, goes away, we'll be able to do these packets where we sell them. You guys can go to like Office Max or Office Depot, or you can go to different Staples or any supermarket or mom and pop store, and they can sell, to where it's good for a whole office. Like a lot of offices when they were all active had coffee rooms where people would open up their own sugar and their creamer and their this and their that. And all this stuff can be not only good to give out samples, but we can start marketing it to sell it to different conduits like restaurants or health food stores or office space. Law firms, car dealerships would love to have. You know how you go into a car dealership and you get your car serviced and all they've got are donuts and coffee. It'd be good for them to have, the ability to have a nice healthy hot chocolate or the coffee that's there, to have a vegan coffee creamer you can put in that would be healthy. Just stuff like that. You could sell this stuff to every car dealership in the United States.
Yeah, I think the biggest key with those little packets is they're easy to mail. And a lot of the people that I talk to, really once they taste it and see the difference in the taste of their current protein shakes and stuff, that's how you win them over. But sending them a 2-pound bag is pretty, hefty through the mail. But it makes it inexpensive to get them started and get everybody sampling the product. Once they sample it, they love the sweetness of it.
No, you're right. I mean, and you're a good example, because it took me a while to get once I got you to actually taste everything, that's when you came on board. But it took me a little bit of work, but it was worth it.
One other testimony on those the immune booster tablets that you sent us. I don't know if I didn't really say a whole lot about it, but our 15-year-old ended up getting COVID, and she was quarantined, of course, from school and had to stay in her room for a few weeks. But we gave her those immune boosters, and we took them. Me and my wife tested 2 or 3 times negative every time while we were taking those, and my daughter had 0 effects.
Dynamite. I'm telling you. People, if they would just, and here's the thing too, and I said this last week and I'll say it again, that isn't it funny when people get a sore throat, they go like, man, I better go get some oranges, or I gotta get some orange juice, or if you start doing this now when you're healthy, you never get a sore throat. I mean, people always wait till after the fact, and what I'm trying to get people to do is take these immune boosters when you're healthy so you stay healthy. That's the key.
We had to go back to Kentucky for a funeral last week. That's why I wasn't on. But I ended up leaving a bottle with my parents and said, hey, take these, take 1 a day, you and mom. And then when that's out, let me know and I'll send you another one. So they should be calling me. I told them, they were asking how in the world they know me. If you put something and I'm not supposed to touch it, by the time you're done, if you turn on a UV light, it's all through the house. So I know we came in contact with, there's no way. Because I was the one taking her food every day. And, honestly, it's my kids. So I'm like, I really don't care, but none of us got it. So I think that's a testimony.
Yeah.
That's very good. It's very good.
I was actually nervous about it because I knew for a fact, there's no way I'm going to have my kid in my house and not get around her for 2 weeks.
Well, one of our other, influencers that is a body builder and a power lifter, he got the COVID last week, and I sent him the same pills. And so, I mean, those pills are to be sent out to help people that are in need. And that's why I made them. And that's why I'm excited about getting them manufactured in huge bulk, because to me, over the next year, especially as the weather gets colder and colder, I want to be sending those out to a lot of people that are really in need.
Powerful stuff, good stuff. It's exactly what everyone needs to build their immune system, not just for COVID, but flu and everything else that's out there.
Yeah, just remember the chocolate has a lot of antioxidants in it too. So it's not just I don't want everybody to think I take a pill and I'm cured type of thing. The thing that Micah talks about all the time with me, which is so true, is the fact that it's not just taking a pill, which thank God we got pills that we can help people with, but it's learning a lifestyle change of what foods give you the natural antioxidants that don't even involve a pill.
Yeah, well, building up your immune system. Your immune system is a trillion soldiers in there that are armed and conditioned. They've battled various stuff. They've been exposed to stuff, and they're able to take out the enemy, right? And you build them up by eating right and conditioning, and taking products like Gary has. You keep sugar out of your system. You keep stuff out of your system that destroys that immune system and your immunity, and you consume stuff that helps build it.
Okay, Mary Russell asked a question about getting her fever down, and you know how they say starve a fever, feed a cold, and She has COVID. Oh, she's got COVID. Okay, well then the most important thing, because we don't, what you can buy locally is go and get what they call Ester C. It's Ester-C, 1,000 milligram pills. Go to any one of your CVS or Walgreens or your drugstore and go get immediately, when you can, a bottle of 1,000 milligram Ester-Cs, because they're time released and they're really fantastic. And you want to take one every 3 to 4 hours. But and the good news is you can't overdose on C. You can on A or E or other vitamins, or D. But C, all you're going to do is have expensive toilet water. So you can do overkill all day long. And what you want to do is you got to drink when you're taking these vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams every 3 to 4 hours, which will really strengthen your antibodies and immune system and give you a jolt. You got to be drinking probably 64 to 72 ounces of water a day. Now, when I say 64 to 72 ounces of water a day, that liquid can include a green tea, a black tea, or whatever. Just don't do caffeine, because caffeine, sugar, and alcohol actually break down your immune system. And most people don't know that. You know, people that crack me up, or they go, God, I'm getting a sore throat, I'm going to go drink a hot toddy. The next day, they're in bed for a week, okay? Because they're on the fence of getting sick. What do? They put alcohol in their body, and now they're sick because they just destroyed the little bit of antibodies. Like you said, they just killed the army that you're talking about to protect them. Yeah, so, but anyway, Mary, go get the Ester-C, and those will help until I get these immune boosters done in the month of January for you.
Ester-C or Emergen-C?
Well, Emergen-C is good too, because Emergen-C has echinacea and a lot of other different things that are really good for the body.
I was gonna say, you got to look for the specific one. See if you can find the one with organic vitamin C in it versus
there you go
synthetic vitamin C.
Yeah, because some of them are like Licamade, or they're like Kool-Aid. They're garbage.
Yeah, make sure there's no sugar or anything else. It should be
because anything that's got sugar in it, they're a hypocrite, because they're telling you they're gonna strengthen you with the C, but they're killing you with the sugar. You can't do it that way. You're exactly
garlic
right.
Tablets are another good one to take. You can get odorless garlic tablets. Take garlic as part of your diet. If you're drinking sodas, now's a great time to cut it out, because you're just undoing everything. And I don't remember, Mary, if you guys are soda drinkers or not, but if you are, I won't even get in. Take sugars away from sodas. There's still banned ingredients that make the cola and the other chemicals, artificial colors. Nothing in that is good at all, other than maybe.
Well, not only that, your colas rip your insides apart. You know, any kind of Coca-Cola or Pepsi or what, they have an ingredient called phosphoric acid.
Mhm.
And that's what I said last week when I said that you can take a bowl of Coke and a bowl of Diet Coke, a bowl of Pepsi and a bowl of Diet Pepsi, and submerge a T-bone steak into all four of them. And within 48 hours, there's no meat or bone in any of the bowls. Okay, if you don't believe me, try it yourself. So the phosphoric acid that's in Coke and Pepsi will rip your insides apart. It's not good for you, okay? Sodas are horrible. And then last week we talked about the high fructose corn syrup also is a sweetener that's horrible for spiking diabetes and blood sugar and making you vulnerable for viruses and colds and flus and bacteria. Not good for you.
It's BVO, brominated vegetable oil. It's a lot of what they use to make a lot of sodas. It's legal in the US and it's banned throughout most of Europe. If you buy the same Coca-Cola or Coke products overseas where high fructose corn syrup is illegal and all this other stuff, you actually get a much better quality product. Here, Coke, I mean, high fructose corn syrup is almost the least of your worries, it's sad to say. So,
well, the reason why the United States has the most people filling the hospitals is because it's not just, I mean, obviously mask, hand sanitizer, personal distancing are the most important factors, but how is your body prepared for any flu right now? Not just the COVID-19, anything. I mean, you're vulnerable for getting all kinds of different sicknesses and diseases if you do eat chemicals. And everything that Mike and I are talking about are man-made chemicals. They're not natural foods. You know, if God makes it, I trust it. If man makes it, I don't trust it. I know that God didn't invent Velveeta. I know that.
Someone asked about 7-Up and Sprite. 7-Up is just as bad. The only thing that's missing out of 7-Up is some artificial colors. It's still high fructose corn syrup based. I'm actually pulling up the ingredients here now.
No, they're horrible. The only if you need fizz, my dad's 96 and he's lived on club soda. Every time he needed fizz, he drank a club soda. Okay. Yeah, look at that. There's your malic acid, your citric, your fructose, glucose, and half the stuff.
These sodiums, that's salt.
No. Sodium benzoate is a preservative that's horrible for you.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you something about sodium benzoate. When you buy, which you should never buy, but people that buy canned fruit or bottled fruit where you actually see the fruit clear in a bottle, like a grapefruit that slices, grapefruit slices. If you ever taste one and you get this burning sensation, it's because the sodium benzoate, it's been in the refrigerator so long, the sodium benzoate's taken over and it'll burn your throat. Mm-hmm. So it's a horrible preservative. Yeah. If you're gonna eat fruit, eat a fruit that is right out of the produce department, because then it's got all the nutrients, the vitamin C, the vitamin D, plus you're getting all the folic acid, you're getting all the pulp. I never drink a glass of anything that's prepackaged in a supermarket ever, because think about this. How many oranges does it take to make a large glass of orange juice? Think about this. You're drinking the sugar of 5-6 oranges instead of just eating one orange and getting all the natural vitamin C and the fiber. Why would you drink a glass of, and then the worst thing is especially if it's homogenized or it's been baked for 500 degrees, most things that are in a package that say vitamin C, the vitamin C is all gone. There's very little juice that's in a supermarket where there's any vitamin C left at all in the product. It all dissipates. So if you want juice, then squeeze maybe one orange, but I don't even do that. To me, I'd just rather eat the orange, get all the fiber, get the folic acid, and it fills you up much better to eat an orange than to sit there and squeeze a bunch of oranges and drink juice. I can tell you right now, because you're drinking way too much sugar.
And this is why we're training on ingredients, is because marketing has taught people incorrectly over the years. Milk and dairy products is a huge one throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It trained all of our parents that somehow it's a great source of vitamin D and it helps grow strong bones. And quite honestly, it's just the opposite.
It's garbage. And you know where that came from, Micah? Harvard University took millions of dollars from the meat and dairy in the United States, and they're the ones that created the food pyramid, which is a bunch of crap. That food pyramid, it was created by the meat and dairy industry to propagandize eating garbage.
Soda's the same way. Soda, the battle between Coke and Pepsi, billion-dollar organization, is literally the battle of colored sugar water. It's all it is sugar water. Who has the best sugar water? And the myth that most people don't get, that we've all been trained wrong, and I can say I'll throw my parents under the bus because they'll never watch this call. I doubt. I at least hope not. But when I was younger, and you're sick, you have an upset stomach, they're like, well, don't drink sodas, drink Sprite or ginger ale or other stuff that's easier on your stomach because the TV commercials told you so. And yes, it is easier on your stomach than the comparisons, but it's just less poisonous. As you can see here, this is Sprite, and like ginger ale, it's considered to be some of the safest, supposedly, substances to drink. It's high fructose corn syrup, the second ingredient. Sodium benzate's on there. It is missing a lot of the other stuff, but just from the sugar, we covered this in the last meeting, how addictive high fructose corn syrup is. How do you think if you're sick or you're throwing up or whatever, that drinking any kind of carbonated beverage, loading yourself up with sugar and salt and these preservatives is going to help any at all? There's no soda.
No, here again, if your body's vulnerable and it's weak, and you're starting to feel like you're coming down with something, antioxidants will strengthen you, and sugar, caffeine, and alcohol will destroy you. Okay, it's that simple.
It's safe to say if it's a Pepsi or a Coca-Cola product, stay away from it. I don't think there's anything in their arsenal that is safe to drink. They might have some stuff that doesn't have.
You hear something funny? Here's something funny. Even the water that Coca-Cola and Pepsi make is garbage. That Desante and that what's the other one, that Aquafina? Those are both those. Yeah. Those are garbage.
It's chemically treated water.
They're not pH balanced, and I'm telling you, I hate to say it, but they represent. If you're dumb enough to buy it, we're going to sell it to you. That's what they represent. All right. So
now that you brought up water, let's just talk about it for a moment, because not all water is good. If you need to drink water, drink it, stay hydrated. But if you have a choice, most of your plastic bottled water, the name brand stuff, the inexpensive stuff, it's acidic. The water is treated either from gray water or water runoff. They chemically treat it to get it clear and drinkable according to the FDA standards. But the chemicals that they use make the water acidic. If you test the pH balance of the water and look up Google or go to YouTube and look up pH of waters, you'll find videos out there that people's done. I'll show you some drops that I have next week that you can drop in there to tell you the pH of it. But most of it's acidic. You need to find, and almost universally, all of your artesian waters and your spring waters are going to be pH balanced, because they actually pull those from the springs, from the earth, where it's already pH balanced.
Exactly. And that's why the Asians, they have these machines that actually balance the pH in the water, and they have them in every hospital in the Asian medical conduits. And that's why they're way more effective than we are.
Yep. And there's also chemically treated water out there that comes pH balanced. You got to watch out for it. You can take, as a science experiment, you can take any water out there, however acidic it is, sprinkle a little bit of baking soda in there, it'll instantly go pH. But that still doesn't mean it's safe to drink. You almost need to just stick to spring waters and artesian waters.
I hate to tell you how many cities in the United States have been proven to be as bad with the tap water as Flint, Michigan, where their water was killing people. I mean, it was brown. Their water was brown. And I hate to say it, but there's a lot of cities in this country that have the same underground problem, or that they have the chemical plants that are secreting stuff underground and ruining all the pipes and the water that used to be natural. It's gone. So it's important. It's really important that all you got to do is Google what's the healthiest water that I can buy and consume? And there's all kinds of articles you can read.
Mm-hmm. If you wonder why we're talking about pH balance, and we're going to jump into these ingredients, the same thing applies here. When your body pH goes to the acidic side and not the alkaline side, it becomes acidic. An acidic body is what's prone for cancer, disease, infection, all sorts of ailments. You can almost tie universally to having an acidic body, right? When you have an alkaline body, and now this isn't completely universal, but when you have an alkaline body, you are much more resilient to a lot of the same stuff. Science and studies have shown that people that maintain an alkaline environment can stay cancer-free, disease-free. I mean, there's obviously stuff you can do wrong, but that shift literally is being too acidic and too alkaline. Amazon has, I'll pull it up and I have it available next week, has pH test strips you can get to test your body pH level. You urinate
two chats, Mike. Craig was talking about Dr. Sebi, and that's a good person to read up about. He's phenomenal. And then Mary Russell said something very sharp too, where she just said that she drinks water with alkaline already and electrolytes in it, which is smart. Very, very smart.
Yeah. But you want to maintain your body as an alkaline, and the foods that you eat, when you get a bunch of processed foods and greasy foods and sugar and all this other stuff, it contributes toward an acidic body. When you eat fruits and vegetables and you drink water and God made foods, it contributes towards an alkaline body. So that's foundationally what you see a lot of these ingredients. Some of them on their own are bad, but collectively they're poisoning your body, which makes you prone to cancer and other stuff. So
that's why, there's a lot of verbiage out there on paleo eating, and all that really means is that you're trusting God's naturally made products to live like we used to. It's so funny, you look at what farmers used to create 30, 40 years ago and then distribute all around the United States. And the chickens were all free range, and the cows were all grazing, and they were all taken care of properly, and they weren't slaughtered in a way that was so horrendous. But with mass production today and everybody trying to make that extra nickel, we have cut corners to the point where it's more into making money than it is to caring about a human being's life.
Yep. And you can almost draw a line right.
Crystal Lee Miller said, and she's so right, that food used to taste better back then too. I know that I was a Midwest guy. I was born in Ohio and brought up in Illinois. And I used to love going in my backyard and just picking tomatoes and eating them right off the vine. I haven't tasted a good tomato since.
Well, what Gary was mentioning about a paleo diet, I mean, a lot of this, you can almost draw a line right down the middle. And this is the foundation of what we're trying to teach is most synthetic man-made ingredients and foods are the problem. When you get into organic foods, you're talking about God-made foods, fruits, vegetables, ingredients, colors, sweeteners, everything that's naturally occurring is the stuff that's actually still good to eat. So,
which is a good segue to get into number 6, the artificial sweeteners.
Let me throw this out about the FDA real quick that I really like, right? Because most people won't touch anything unless it's FDA approved. Again, because of social conditioning and marketing, they're like, well, it needs to have the FDA stamp of approval. First of all, the FDA only approves drugs and synthetic ingredients. If you don't have any drugs or synthetic ingredients and it's all natural, there's nothing for them to approve. As a matter of fact, they won't. You get demonized and you have to put on your label, this product has not been approved by the Federal Drug and Food Administration. We're not responsible, whatever the full disclaimer says. That is actually should be music to your ears. If you see that and it can't be approved by the FDA, more than likely it means it just doesn't have anything bad in it that they need to approve. It's once you get into all these synthetic sweeteners and synthetic preservatives and stuff that they actually need to put their approval on, because that's when it starts getting bad.
I want to know if the FDA approved the cereal aisle that's been killing all our kids with diabetes. That's what I want to know.
More than likely on most of those, you'll probably find boxes that say FDA approved on them.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I wonder if Count Chocula was FDA approved. Anyway, they're all garbage. I mean, nuts.
Is fish okay to eat every day? Like
Yeah,
salmon.
well, here's the thing about fish that's interesting is, and this is sad too. This it gets me depressed where you look at the coral reef situations, and I'm one of those that does believe in global warming, and I'm also one that doesn't like all the plastic crap that we're diluting our water with. But if the fish are around all this plastic or whatever, or they're involved where they're creating too much mercury in their system, that could be a problem. But your good quality fish companies, they do all the testing before they let it go out and make sure that there's not a mercury count, there's not a plastic count. And so you really want to make sure that here's where it's good to spend a couple extra dollars going to a Sprouts or a Whole Foods or a lot of these stores where you really can trust your fish department, and you ask the thing is, ask that they have to answer you with all the questions that you ask. And when you go, like when I go to buy, for example, I buy chicken sausage at Sprouts and Whole Foods, and I say, are these nitrate free? And if they say yes, then I'll buy them. If they say no, then I don't. But it's the same thing with fish. I go, can you please tell me what studies you have on the salmon and the different trout and the whitefish that you have in your casing right now? How much can you tell me about mercury count, or if they were in an environment where they were subjected to plastic or something like that? And they'll know. They know, because when they bring it in, they're liable. So they've got to know. And so here's what I always say about fish that's in my book, which I kind of make a joke about it. I always say that, you are what you eat is the trite phrase everybody uses. You are what you eat. So if you want to be a fat, lazy animal, eat a fat, lazy animal. Eat pig and cow. That all they do every day is just nothing and eat, okay, and roll in the mud or graze or whatever. What does a fish do all day? Swims 24 hours a day. So if you are what you eat and you're eating an animal that swam 24 hours a day, there's nothing wrong with that. If that goes into my system where I just ate an animal that swam 24 hours a day, maybe that's going to make me want to swim 24 hours a day. I don't know, but I know that it's healthy. Let's put it that way.
And then we come back and we'll do some studying on fish, because I know not all fish is good. I know there's like tilapia that'll come from fish farms from China, that they're just grown in tanks. They don't do a lot of.
You got to be. I don't trust any animal that comes from China. Okay, yeah. Period. Okay.
Well,
there's a rule of thumb with fish.
Talking about the fish, being that I'm in Florida and live on a peninsula, there's water all around me, and they have a lot of the testing going around, so you get to see them at the docks and stuff. If you just simply Google which fish contain less mercury, there's what they call topwater feeders and live fish, and they're predator fish. Those are a lot of your cleaner meats and the white and stuff like that. Now your bottom feeders or your scavenger type fish, those are going to be higher in mercury. But there is a list of them, because I look at those things when I catch fish out there in the Gulf and everything. Mm-hmm. Plus you do want to stay away from, like, if you have an oil spill or you hear of a red area and stuff like that, you're going to have to wait for that water to clear up for a while. Yeah. And so that tells you right there, crabs, if you love crab and stuff like that, it's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've cut down on all the shellfish and stuff like that. You're right, because those are the scavengers. You're right.
But they are good.
Oh, they are. Oh, tell me about it. All right, so you want to go over the 6, 7 through 10, Micah?
Yeah, let me answer Leanne's question real quick. She asked, is farm raised safe or not for fish? Honestly, I think it's going to depend on the farm.
Exactly.
If it's a Chinese farm, most likely
no.
But I know there's a farm here. I personally, years ago, was involved in the security installation there, the camera system and stuff. And they have saltwater tanks, plenty of room for the fish to swim around. They're fed properly. They're expensive. Most of the local seafood restaurants will buy from them. So I think it really depends on where they're sourced from. But I think it'd probably be prudent for us to probably just start doing some research and come back and have a fish special here in a couple or a few weeks.
I think we will. I know that I've studied like Idaho has some very good controlled Idaho trout where they keep it extremely clean and healthy. I know that in Texas, because I lived there for 10 years, that some of the local farms that created all their own catfish, their catfish was the best tasting catfish I ever had, and man, it was good. So you're right, but it depends. And it's like anything else. It's like saying, an Italian restaurant, is that healthy? Well, who's the chef? You know what I mean? It depends.
Exactly. So yeah, look it up. If you find something on there that they're bragging about their quality standards, it's probably pretty good. If they don't say anything about where it came from, it's probably from China.
Okay, Loretta just asked, could I lose weight if I just eat fish? Yeah, you can. Now you're getting into kind of like a high protein, low carbohydrate Atkins type of, or South Beach diet. But you don't want, with what this COVID thing going around, you got to have, like Micah was saying earlier too, you got to get into some colorful fruits and vegetables and grains, because those are the things that are going to strengthen your antibodies and immune system. What fish will do, now don't get me wrong, a lot of the omega oil that are in a lot of fish is really healthy for your brain and a lot of your internal organs. But I can tell you right now that that's good for muscle recovery because that's solid protein. But you got to have antioxidants during this time.
Vegetables, fruits. Can't ever get rid of vegetables and fruit.
No, and some grains too, because you want to have some fiber.
Yeah.
You got to have fiber.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the question that I always tell people too. I agree with watching the carbohydrates that you eat, but make sure that when you're going to eat a carbohydrate, which would be fruits, vegetables, and grains, that you're not eating simplistic carbohydrates, that you're only eating complex carbohydrates. Simplistic carbohydrates are the ones that are in cakes and pies and ice cream and cupcakes and donuts and candy and all that crap. Those are carbohydrates, but those are horrible. But you do need some natural sugar, like Micah said, God-made sugar that you're going to get from fruits and vegetables, and that's gonna strengthen your body. And herbivorous animals live way longer than carnivorous animals. So people that live with doing fruits and vegetables and grains live way longer than people that eat meats, way longer. So, but I'm like Troy, where every once in a while I got to cheat because my body says I got to have rack of lamb or something. So I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm a saint, but I can tell you this: it's a treat. It's not a natural thing that I do even on a weekly basis, but once or twice a month I go, Gary, okay, you've been good all month. Man, that rack of lamb is going to look real good. So I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. You know, 1 day or 2 days a month, I'll cheat a little bit, but it's still all natural stuff. I don't cheat on garbage ever.
I agree. Well, you want to get on this list, Gary? We've got about 15 minutes of this call left. I think we can.
All righty. I remember I said last week though, if anybody's read my book, I mean, for somebody that's read my book from cover to cover that I talked about last week, and they can prove it to me, they buy one, they get two free. Okay, but only one shot. Okay, but I want people, and the reason why I'm pushing my book is because I think it'll give you an idea that this is a culmination of 50 years of my life. And I want everybody on here to benefit from everything I've experienced over the last 50 years. I want to share it. I want to give it back. I want people, like I said, I know I'm good when I make people smarter than me, and it shouldn't be that hard. So I'm just telling you that if you read the book, a lot of the things that Micah and Troy and I talk about will make a lot more sense if you get the background of my book. But
I'm in the back office here. You see where I'm highlighting. Gary's book is right here.
It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free.
And if you want to watch any previous meeting, the link is above it. So if you
let me ask a question. this is a burning question I've had to ask of anybody that's on right now. And I know, Troy, you're not allowed, and I know Craig, you're not allowed either, because I know because you're a gym rat like I am. But for everybody else, in my book, I say probably 30 to 40 times that if you read this, I can change your dreams to what? Can somebody put the magic word on the screen? I can change your dreams to blank.
What are you saying?
Reality.
Who said that?
Terry.
Terry said that?
I did.
You get a free product. Okay, so now
thank you.
Last 5. Okay, and I'll do another quiz next week. All right, so here we go. Number 5, and Micah went over this with great detail already, but we'll just cover it real quickly on the 6th one. God made sugar is fruit. Stevia comes from a plant. That's God made sugar. Monk fruit, God made sugar. Honey, God made sugar. Agave, God made sugar. All this crap that you see with sucralose and Splenda and Sweet and Low and all these sugar alcohols, sorbitol, maltitol, xylitol, erythritol, they're all garbage, okay? So anything that's artificial that, like I said, if man made an unrefined sugar, plan on it can cause cancer, hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure,
migraines.
Why would you, as long as I can make something taste as sweet as you need it, and it's cleaner tasting, and it doesn't give you an aftertaste, and it makes you feel like $1 million when you're done, why would you want to eat something artificial? Makes no sense to me.
I can't tell you how many people I've run into, Gary, that have chronic migraines, they've taken every medication on demand, and I'll go talk to them, and I ask them a couple of simple questions about their diet, and they're drinking sodas and eating donuts and all this other junk, and I'm like, that's your brain probably screaming at you to stop. not that that's the source of all migraines.
Well, I watched how the president of Wendy's died, and I watched how Ray Kroc died, and I watched that, and I go, yeah, you are what you eat, all right, that's for sure. But anyway, let's go to number 7.
Number 7,
processed food. I said it a little bit earlier that you were gloating about all those natural organic cheeses you were eating. I guarantee. Isn't it funny that the cheese that represents America is processed shit? I mean, American cheese. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, Swiss cheese. Those holes actually happen naturally, and all these different cheeses like Gouda and all these cheeses, they age naturally. But boy, America, we want to be represented with processed shit. American cheese, I'm telling you. To me,
marketing at its finest.
Marketing, that's right. So processed. Velveeta. It's not even a cheese. They call it. I don't even know what they call it. They can't even call it a food because it isn't food. Yeah. Okay, but anything that is processed, that means that man made it, man manufactured it, man formulated it, man created it, and man doesn't give a shit if you're dead. They just want more money so they can build a summer home. That's all they care about. They don't give, right? And Troy's laughing because we can sit there and say, how many people do you see out there fishing that have killed people that are billionaires from Pepsi and Coke? Anyway, that's another problem. So you got to stay away from processed foods. Now, number 8, bleached flowers. Why? Just the word bleach alone should be the red flag, okay? You know, you spill bleach on a sweater, and if you have a black sweater, you got all these little white gray dots that are never going to go away. So if it'll do that to your sweater, what's it going to do to your insides? That's what I want to know. So, but bleach means, and here's a tricky thing that I just learned over the last couple of years from reading a lot. I always thought, and here's where I was dumb, I always thought when it said 100% whole wheat, wow, that's what I need. Guess what? It's garbage, okay? If it says multi-grain, that doesn't mean a damn thing. Here's what it has to say, 100% whole grain. That's the only type of bread and crackers that you should be buying ever. Don't get baffled by 100%, because I did. For years, and as a nutritionist, I have to admit I was an idiot thinking that 100% whole wheat or 100% of this or 100% of that was great. And then when you read that it's enriched and it's bleached and it's this and it's got all these chemicals in it and it's got, the only thing that is going to give you a natural product is 100% whole grain. That's gives you, then you're getting a good bang for your buck where you're getting the right fiber that you need for digestion. Okay, that's really good for you. And that doesn't mean that you eat 500 sandwiches a week either. I mean, I find it interesting that when I see people eating 800 sandwiches and they're gaining weight, I go, you do own a fork, right? So anything you're putting in between those two pieces of bread, you can eat with a fork and lose 20 pounds. So people sometimes eat bread not because it's healthy, but convenient. Okay, that they'll slap something in the middle of two pieces of bread and run out of the house. Okay, no, you're worth it to take time to eat that's going to put 10, 20 years on your life. Is that worth it to you? If you added extra 10 minutes of thinking before you chew and swallow, is that worth 10, 20 years extra on your life? I think it is, to me personally.
Also, cheap bread is also sweetened with high fructose corn syrup.
Well, here again, if you don't, and I love what Mike has done. He's taught me a lot, believe it or not, in terms of when he talks about ingredient Nazi, where he says, I read everything. I think that this bread's going to be healthy, but when I see that it's got the high fructose corn syrup, I see it's got too much sugar. Now, one thing I can tell you, in my book, I've got a formula that you can do. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it'll tell you, if you do the test of the grams of sugar to the calories, it'll tell you whether there's too much in the product. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with fat. Okay, now you don't want saturated fat for sure, because then you want a heart attack. But even good fat like avocado, or there's a lot of good fats out there that you get in fish. They have real good fats, omega and all kinds of, but I'm just telling you that in my book, I have a formula for understanding when the calories that are in the product, and then you count how many of the calories are sugar. It's overkill. And a lot of your marketing, fat-free products have way too much sugar, and sugar-free products have way too much fat, but they're slapping it on there for marketing. Buy my fat-free product or buy my sugar-free product. Mm-hmm. But if you don't do like Micah does, where you study the sugar and the fat, you're screwed.
When I read the ingredient list, because there's so much stuff you just don't even know what it is, Google it. Take a few minutes out, punch it up on your phone, and read and see what it is. If it has the word fructose or syrup or anything like that, it's a sweetener. If it has the word sodium anywhere in there, it's a salt or it's a preservative, and you're going to discover really quickly there's a lot of bad stuff. It's scary how much.
And if there's words that you don't know that give you a good Scrabble score, don't buy it, because it's a chemical. You're like, what the hell is that?
Here we have some. Here's the other thing. Look, when you're talking about bleached products, almost anything that's bleached is safe to stay away from. Almost anything that's enriched, almost anything that's hydrogenated. You'll notice hydrogenated oils with the hydrogenation process, the bleaching process, the enrichment process is basically just taking subpar products and trying to enhance them to where they meet standards or to increase volume of usability or the fullness of them. But it's all based on something that's just unfit to begin with, or
Correct.
A byproduct of another process where they're trying to recycle the leftovers to make stuff out of it to save money.
Now, last week, Mike, I told everybody that if you're going to eat a lunch meat, it has to be like a boar's head where it's nitrate free. Okay, today I'm going to discuss
BHA free.
What's that?
BHT and BHA is another one used in those meats, pepperoni, salamis.
Garbage, cancer. But sodium nitrate free boar's head meats are good. Now let's along the same line today. Now that we're talking about pasta, which is in the category with the breads, is a good company that makes a semolina based pasta, which is really healthy, is Barilla. and Barillo's nationwide, and that's a very good pasta company. They're very reputable, very reputable. So you don't want bleached, but you want semolina-based pasta because that means that it's a good quality, naturally made pasta.
Semolina, it's all of this, a lot of this what we're talking about is on the website. I've got it highlighted here, Semolina, Semolina.
Correct.
You got it. But I encourage you to read this stuff. It's short, it's really to the point, it's eye-opening. Some of the stuff you got to avoid. So
I think, along with these oils, let me just add one thing that I learned it's almost funny to me now. When I was young and I used to go Halloween trick-or-treating and stuff, and I used to try to get as many candy bars as I could when I was like 7 or 8 or 9. And you come home with a zillion Milky Ways and Snickers and Musketeers and Mars bars and Payday and all that. And on every one of those bars, it said, one of the following oils is in this product. And I didn't learn until I studied it in school that what they're really saying is, we put the cheapest crap that'll clog your arteries in this product, so enjoy. And because, virgin olive oil is extremely healthy. Canola oil would be my next choice. Coconut oil would be my third choice. But any of these other oils like palm or safflower or cottonseed or all that, those will clog your arteries and kill you in a minute, okay? And those are the ones that are in all these candy bars and all this crap. And the fact that they're even saying to you, one of the following is in this, what they're saying is, we're gonna buy the cheapest crap we can find so we can make profit while you die. That's what they're really saying. And happy Halloween. But anyway, so I'm just telling you that I had to learn this stuff as I got older. It's so funny. The more I studied nutrition in school, the more I thought my parents had a plot to kill me when I was a kid. Like I'm thinking, like, God, they fed me SpaghettiOs and Chef Boyardee, ravioli and all this stuff in a can, and I'm going, oh my God! But they didn't know. They didn't know any better. Anyway, the point is, stay away from stuff. And here's the last thing I'm going to say about things that you buy in cans that you put in your cabinets and you hold for, I don't know, a rainy day or whatever you hold it for. How many times if somebody said to you, I'm inviting you to my house for dinner, but we're going to have 6-month-old food? How many people would say, God, I'm getting in the car right now, man, this guy's going to make me a dynamite meal, man, it's going to be good. No, think about it. From the time even a Campbell soup is manufactured to where it's put in a corrugated box, to where it's put in a warehouse, to where it's shipped to a local supermarket chain warehouse, where it's shipped to a supermarket, where it's in the back for 3 weeks, and then some stock boy puts it up on the shelves way in the back because you got to rotate, and then it comes all the way up to the front maybe a month later or 2 weeks later, and then it sits in your cabinet for 2, 3, 4 weeks. You're eating 6-month-old food, man. And anybody that's eating 6-month-old food that's soaked in salt and sugar, I can promise you, you're not going to feel like you just ran a marathon. That I can promise you.
And most of those salt and sugar isn't the least of your concerns. You look, it's the preservatives they got in there.
Oh, they're horrible. Well, first of all, look at it. Think about it. If something can sit in a can for 6 months and you open it and it still has some resemblance of a color, it's bad, okay? Because take anything that's perishable, that's natural, that would be on a paleo diet, put it in a can, open it after 4 days, it's going to look like a science project. Yep. It's going to have moss growing out of it. And, look what you see in your refrigerator with perishable items that even left in there for a week. When things are growing out of that, your bread starts molding, and this turns green and this turns white, and your strawberries look weird on the ends of them. And well, that's normal, because that means you should have ate it when it first went in your refrigerator like the Europeans do, but you let it sit. Okay. And now it's bad and you got to throw it out. But that at least you can see that, where you're knowing that that's a paleo product that right before your eyes, God is telling you, okay, you didn't eat it when you were supposed to, so now I'm going to make it look like crap, so you throw it in the garbage. Okay, but how many? God doesn't work that way with man-made products like Twinkies. You can have those in your cabinet for 5 years and eat them, and they look the same. I mean, but if you think about it, probably the same chemicals that are in the Twinkie are in a telephone. That's why you never see a telephone get moldy, or you never see a telephone that's perishable, because it's not food. Okay, well, either is a Twinkie. That's not food either. Yeah. It's like a telephone. Okay, so I'm just telling you that it's real important that we understand that we don't want to eat 6-month-old food. We want to be more like the Europeans, where we buy the food we're going to eat it fresh, put it in your body. That way you get all the natural nutrients that God made for you to have, and then you're going to feel like you are what you eat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does anybody have any questions? But like I said, I apologize that I have to move to Florida and I won't be able to do anything for the first couple of weeks of January. I got to get situated, but I'm willing to give away stuff so everybody has inventory, everybody has what they need, and I want everybody to have a happy holiday.
Yep, and we're going to change your influencer codes tonight by midnight or so. So check tomorrow morning. Your influencer codes will be buy one, get one free for customers. And we'll have a separate code in your back office that you can use, because you won't be able to use your own influencer code that you can use to get the buy one, get one free.
Terry asked a really good question.
Sure, you can ask a question anytime you want.
Well, Terry asked in the chat, what's the difference between dehydrated fruit sugar and fructose, and how do we explain that to customers?
Great question. Dehydrated fruit is they actually take the actual fruit, okay, and they take all the nutrients and just take the water out of it, and then they powderize it, so it keeps all of the natural vitamins and nutrients. The only thing that they can't keep is the folic acid and the pulp, obviously, or the fiber. But fructose can be tricky, because that can be man-made. See, dehydrated fruit isn't man-made. High fructose corn syrup or fructose can be man-made. It can be chemicalized. It can be processed. It can be put into a powder with chemicals. Okay, but a dehydrated fruit is strictly taking a nature item and taking the liquid out of it. That's all it's doing. It's basically, the reason why I love dehydrated fruit is it takes a lot of the excess of sugar that's in the liquid out of it, but keeps all the nutrients and the sweetness still in the powder.
Just got to read the ingredients though, because there's a lot of dehydrated fruit that they have added sugar to it.
Well, there again, that's like somebody going into a yogurt shop and getting unbelievably My Healthy yogurt, and what do they put on it? Gummy bears. The bottom line is either eat healthy and stick with a program, or you're creating a hypocritical, self-destructive way of doing things.
Loretta says she's going to be eating fish tonight. Yeah, if you can get away from meat, cow meat altogether, that's the best thing you can do for yourself. Start eating chicken, eat fish, make sure you're quality fish.
Make sure though on the chicken though, Micah, make sure that they understand that, I hate to say this, but 70% of the chickens that are produced in the United States are garbage with hormones, antibiotics, and they're cubicle chickens where they never move from the time they're born until they get killed. They're in a cubicle, and they peck at each other's beaks because they're so frustrated, because they're hyper, and because they bleed, the farmers give them antibiotics, and we're eating the hormones and the antibiotics, and we're also, here's the funny thing about a cubicle chicken. Do you know that the cow, if it grazes properly and eats grass and not hay, or no, corn, I'm sorry, corn, the chicken's going to be more fat than the cow. In other words, because the chicken never moved from birth. They're cubicle chickens. Yep. So that's why when you go to a supermarket and you say, I want to buy free range chickens, because those are chickens that are hyper, that move around from day one until they're ready to be slaughtered.
Well, most all the chickens, they use this new breed of double-breasted chicken. They only take about 8 weeks from birth to get to full size before they get butchered. They're generally underdeveloped skeletal, underdeveloped hearts. So that's almost unavoidable. Having them move is good, but definitely get nitrate-free, hormone-free, and antibiotic antibiotic-free. And that's generally on the package. Purdue.
Oh no, it is.
Chicken,
No. I'll give you a good example, Micah. Jenny O makes dynamite turkey meat. Jenny O. They make. They have no hormones, no antibiotics, and a lot of them are like 93% fat free.
Yeah.
I make my tacos with Jenny O turkey meat. I don't use beef. So that now there was a question, Micah. Someone asked about the probiotics that are in the hot chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
There's 100 million live colonies of encapsulated lactobacillus in every 4-ounce serving, which is phenomenal. Just so you know, and so that's something that we have a patent on, where all of the probiotics get absorbed in the intestines when they get into the body. So you get total absorption. That's why you get so many live colonies. But it's 100 million live colonies for every 4-ounce serving of encapsulated lactobacillus as the bacteria that would be the probiotic.
Yeah, I actually started adding a little bit of the chocolate to my coffee to have a probiotic coffee.
That's good. It's a probiotic mocha coffee. You're doing good.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah, you just created a great mocha coffee.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. I actually was using a hot chocolate mix over coffee creamer at one point. I ran out of coffee creamer and I was like, this stuff mixes in with water and it's sweet. And the probiotic, I did the same thing and made like a mocha coffee.
Yeah.
So a teaspoon in there, and yeah.
Well, eventually we're going to have mocha samples too. I think we'll come up where we combine the coffee creamer with the chocolate and make it so that it's like a mocha powder that can go into coffee, where that way it's one, rip it open, put it in, and you got mocha. So I like that idea.
Hey guys, last minute questions, throw them out. Otherwise, we are out of time. We are going to
cut
this off. And is it okay to drink 2 cups of the hot chocolate a day? Yeah,
absolutely.
Actually, I don't think we discussed this previously. Me and Gary have. There's no limit to how much you can drink. Drink as much as you want. The only side effect is flatulence. You might get some gas or some runny stool, but that's the worst thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, don't drink 3 of them if you're going to church. You're right. Exactly. Yeah. No, just kidding.
Oh.
No, the fact that it's low in calorie, it doesn't have refined sugar, and it's a gourmet cocoa mix. Yeah, you can drink 2 a day is nothing. That's no problem at all.
I drink 2 to 3 big cups a day. Addictive. I did the same thing. Yeah, I mean, there's. In this case, it's like vitamin C. I don't think you can get too much. I looked this up myself with probiotics. Maybe with the fruit sugar, if you're diabetic, maybe there's an issue there. But otherwise, no. Drink as
well. I think here's the key. Obviously, you don't want to set up where it's going in intravenously. But I mean, I think that if you do like 1 in the morning or one in other words, if you do 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, or 1 in the morning, 1 at night for dinner, that's fine. But that doesn't mean, you're doing 7 of them a day. Then you're right. Then the fruit sugar would get to be too much. It'd be like saying, well, I eat 10 apples a day. Well, that's a problem. Okay. But if you're eating an apple or 2 a day, or an apple and an orange a day, that's fine. Yeah. But anything in moderation is fine.
Yes. Let's see. Better wait till tomorrow and order on the BOGO sale. Yes, do that. Wake up in the morning, order, spread the word to your customers. This is a great.
Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free. I'm telling you, I want to do this so everybody has a good holiday and can feed everybody that needs product. So I want to give it away. Buy one and get one free.
Well, have a good night, everybody. We're going to cut this loose. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Troy. joining us down in
See you
Florida.
later, everybody. Take care. Nice talking to all of you, and talk to you next week.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.